Puget Sound is a pristine natural resource with hundreds of inlets, bays, and tributaries. There are 5 species of Pacific salmon, abundant waterfowl, and marine mammals such as seals and whales abound in its waters. As the Department of Homeland Security's lead maritime safety agency, the U.S. Coast Guard operates Vessel Traffic Center, commonly known as Seattle Traffic, or VTS, from its facilities at Pier 36 on Seattle's waterfront. Seattle Traffic was commissioned in 1972 and originally given the mission of reducing vessel collisions and groundings in order to protect this fragile environment from releases of petroleum and other hazardous cargoes. Seattle Traffic's humble beginnings include taking position reports over the radio from voluntary participants and pushing wooden ships around on a chalkboard. Seattle Traffic has continuously improved the equipment and procedures for managing and enhancing traffic order and predictability on the waterways. Seattle Traffic Center is continually being updated with advanced communications, radar, automatic identification systems, or AIS, and vessel traffic operation support systems, a shared display of vessel icons from the neighboring vessel traffic centers in Canada over a proprietary system. Today, Seattle Traffic manages waterways covering 3,500 square miles, making it the largest vessel traffic service in the United States. The Seattle Traffic area stretches from Olympia in the south to the Canadian border in the north, to the entrance to the Strait of Juan de Fuca and the Pacific Ocean to the west. The Canadian Coast Guard operates 2 vessel traffic centers that work and train with Seattle Traffic. Tofino Traffic Center is located at Ucluelet, British Columbia, on the west side of Vancouver Island, responsible for managing the waters west of the entrance of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. The other center in Sydney, BC, on the east side of Vancouver Island, known as Victoria Traffic, is responsible for vessel traffic north of Race Rocks, proceeding up Harrow and Georgia Straits.
Watch Supervisor, I'm going to contact Victoria Traffic on that.
Okay. The 3 vessel traffic centers communicate via a computer link, fax, and telephone line.
Victoria Traffic.
Each center is responsible for advising each other 1 hour before a vessel will pass between their respective zones. The shift in management from one country to another is virtually seamless and transparent to the user. Since 1979, the U.S. Coast Guard has continually improved service to the mariner by working with the Canadian Coast Guard to manage vessel traffic through an extremely successful agreement that established the Cooperative Vessel Traffic Service, or CVTS. Both countries work together to enhance our interoperability in order to successfully manage and continuously improve traffic management within their heavily traveled waters. A result is that each country manages vessel traffic in a portion of the other country's waters, with the ultimate goal of making the transition from one center to the next as transparent as possible to the mariner. The agreement, international procedures, and ongoing work bring consistency to vessel traffic management, regulations, policies, and day-to-day procedures. The Canadian and U.S. Coast Guards use an integrated 3-part approach to waterways management. They include traffic separation schemes, radar surveillance, and a vessel movement reporting system, or VMRS. Traffic separation schemes were established and printed on charts designating places and directions where participants should navigate their vessels. These traffic schemes are quite similar to a highway with a median, and they exist throughout the service area. The traffic separation scheme provides the primary means of enhancing traffic order and predictability. Radar surveillance allows the vessel traffic centers to track the progress of participating vessels, as well as watch for other, usually smaller, non-participating vessels. With a radar view of all of the traffic separation schemes, watchstanders give participating ships early warning of what lies ahead.
Ferry kids at Orchard Point, eastbound Pier 52.
Vessel Movement Reporting System is the last part of the system, the communications network which helps tie together the maritime community. Communications and clearly understood passing arrangements between vessels are essential in preventing collisions and other marine mishaps. Using VHF radio communications, watchstanders also obtain routine position and speed reports from participating vessels in non-radar coverage areas. These reports will allow other mariners in the area to know the reporting vessel's position. Seattle Traffic encourages the maritime community to take advantage of the service Seattle Traffic provides. Seattle Traffic is a partner with the mariner in achieving safety. While participation with the traffic service is mandatory for some, it is beneficial for all.
Richard Briscoe Traffic, Roger, which calling our way? We have an effective system here, safely managing the movement of cargo ships, tankers, ferries, tugs and tows, and major naval vessels. Yet our best efforts can be nullified and dangerous situations can quickly arise when the smaller vessels fail to keep track of the big picture as they're navigating crowded waters. I encourage every vessel with a VHF radio to monitor the appropriate VTS frequency whenever they are underway and operating in the vessel traffic service area.
At the core of the traffic center are the watchstanders, the people who run the vessel traffic center. They are civilian, active duty, and reserve Coast Guard professionals. Trained for an average of 4 months before qualifying at their positions, these men and women have immediate recall of hundreds of geographic features and are intimately familiar with vessel operations. They have extensive knowledge of federal regulations pertaining to waterways management. This knowledge is acquired through a vigorous training, area familiarization, ship ride, and a triannual recertification program. Watchstanders also monitor more than 2,200 annual transits of tankers carrying over 10 billion gallons of petroleum products, from Alaska North Slope crude oil to gasoline and jet fuel. There are also many other vessels that carry millions of tons of other hazardous cargoes. Every year, watchstanders closely monitor the movement of nearly 250,000 vessels. Close to 200,000 trips are made by Washington State ferries each year, the country's largest ferry system. The majority of these transits cross Puget Sound and the traffic lanes, taking them across the paths of merchant ships. The safety of ferry passengers is a constant concern. As Washington State Ferry Captain Gary Fredback states,
Before any traffic scheme was in effect, there was a great deal of confusion not knowing what vessels were going where and at what speed. Since the vessel traffic service was implemented, the stress of my job was lessened considerably with that information now being provided. In addition, with the advent of established shipping lanes, we're able to discern where a particular vessel will be at a specific time. The service that VTS provides is even more valuable during periods of reduced visibility. Washington State ferries carry over 20 million passengers throughout Puget Sound annually. With increased shipping entering our waterways, navigating my vessel from one port to another has been made a great deal safer with the professional services provided by Vessel Traffic Service.
Seattle Traffic works hand in hand with the Prevention Department, Operational Readiness Department, and the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS. The Prevention Department handles the vessels with navigational and operational deficiencies, such as engine breakdowns, inoperable radars, etc. Prevention may also follow up with an investigation into some of the more serious issues, such as collisions, groundings, oil, or other hazardous chemical spills. These vessels would be required to contact the Coast Guard as soon as possible to report these and other hazardous incidents. Prevention also conducts inspections of various vessels, depending on their type, size, and tonnage. These inspections may include checking for proper documentation, extensive fire drills, abandoned ship drills, and much more. The Prevention Department is also responsible for ensuring that the advance notice of arrivals have been submitted to the National Vessel Movement Center, or NVMC. Here is an example of a vessel sailing from Oakland, California, and transiting up to Seattle, Washington. Certain vessels bound for a U.S. port or anchorage and having an ITC or regulatory tonnage over 300 gross tons are required to submit an advance notice of arrival in accordance with 33 CFR 160, subpart C. If an arriving vessel's transit time is less than 96 hours, a vessel is required to submit an advance notice of arrival to NVMC within 24 hours of arrival. The notice of arrival can be submitted to NVMC via email, fax, or online submission at the National Vessel Movement Center's website, located at www.nvmc.uscg.gov. As of July 1, 2004, certain foreign and domestic vessels over 300 ITC gross tons must have a security plan implemented as per the Maritime Transportation Security Act, MTSA, and the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, ISPS. For more information, go to their website. If a vessel is 1,600 gross tons or more, bound for a U.S. or Canadian port, it is required to inspect and fully test the steering gear and main propulsion machinery, both ahead and astern, within 12 hours prior to entering the Strait of Juan de Fuca. This should be done 12 nautical miles or more from the coastline.
Tofino traffic, Cape Ring calling over.
Cape Ring, this is Tofino traffic on channel 74, go ahead.
When the vessel reaches 48 degrees north or within 60 nautical miles of the entrance to the Strait of Juan de Fuca, it contacts Tofino traffic on channel 74. If testing of propulsion and steering at sea must be delayed for safety reasons, Then report this to Tofino Traffic and request permission to conduct the test in the open but more protected waters of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. All vessels bound for Victoria Pilot Station should adjust their speed to make their appropriate pilot time after checking in with Tofino Traffic. Once they reach the entrance to the Strait of Juan de Fuca at 124 degrees 40 west longitude, they need to check in with Seattle Traffic on Channel 5 Alpha.
Seattle Traffic, this is Ferry, over.
The vessels that must participate with Seattle Traffic are 1. Every power-driven vessel of 40 meters or more in length while navigating. 2. Every commercial vessel engaged in towing 8 meters or more in length while navigating. 3. Every vessel certificated to carry 50 or more passengers for hire when engaged in trade. Every power-driven vessel 20 meters or more but less than 40 meters must passively participate or listen to the appropriate VTS frequency and respond when hailed. Every vessel of 100 gross tons or more carrying 1 or more passengers for hire while navigating. And a dredge or floating plant must also passively participate. These regulations and more can be found in the user's manual. When reaching 124 degrees 00 west longitude, vessels must call Seattle Traffic to check in.
Seattle Traffic, this is Caparinga. We are passing 124 degrees 00 minutes west.
If the vessel is going to Victoria Pilot Station, the vessel is sent via electronic handoff to Victoria 1 hour prior to the handoff line, which is due east of Race Rocks. This vessel is headed for the Port Angeles Pilot Station. It will pick up a U.S. pilot and continue into Seattle. There is a vessel exclusion zone in effect around all naval vessels, tank ships, and/or large passenger vessels. Do not approach within 100 yards. If navigational limitations exist, contact the vessel or its escort vessel on Channel 13 or 16 prior to entry. Slow to a minimum speed necessary to maintain course within 100 to 500 yards of said vessels. Smaller vessels need to remember Rule 10 of the Colreg's International Rules of the Road when transiting or crossing the traffic lanes. A vessel of less than 20 meters in length or a sailing vessel shall not impede the safe passage of a power-driven vessel following a traffic lane. Seattle Traffic is the Coast Guard's eyes and ears on Puget Sound. With its unique capabilities, it not only manages vessel traffic, but also contributes greatly as a proactive waterways manager. In addition to supporting search and rescue, law enforcement, marine safety programs, and protecting the environment, the vessel traffic centers also provide assistance to other government agencies. Seattle Traffic serves basically as an information service to enable masters and pilots to make better decisions for the safe transit of their vessels. In some situations, the traffic center may issue directions to a vessel during conditions of vessel congestion, adverse weather, reduced visibility, or other hazardous circumstances. The master of a vessel will always retain responsibility to control vessel movements. The following is an actual audio and video display recorded on our old radar scope, which shows the vessel traffic center directing a vessel to alter course to prevent a potentially hazardous situation.
Pack merchant, Seattle Traffic.
This is a paying more plant.
What are your intentions? What are you doing? Over.
We are approaching to the Port Angeles Pilot Station. Over.
You have missed the turn to the pilot station. There is a buoy on your starboard side. You should be taking that buoy to port. Do you understand? Over.
I don't understand. Will you please again? Over.
Are you coming right now? What is your heading? Over.
My course 090. Over.
Roger, come to new course 180. Port Angeles is due south of your position now. Over.
Roger, I am supposed to starboard and changing on my south side up to over.
The job of managing vessel traffic on Puget Sound is a significant challenge. It is one that over the years Seattle Traffic has met through teamwork, professionalism, and a steady dedication to working with its customers in the maritime community. This is what Captain Henry Hamrick had to say to Seattle Traffic just prior to retiring from the Washington State Ferry System after 39 years of sea service.
Seattle Traffic Arena. Over Ferry South, this is Captain Hamrick. I want to express my thanks to you and the crews at the VTS. You've been a big help throughout the years. I appreciate your effort. Keep up the good work. I'm checking out. Thank you. Not the boat, just me.
Oh, Roger. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's Ferry Chelan. We're at Muscatine. We've got a catamaran that tipped over, and we were launching our rescue boat at this time and to assist him right off Elliott Point. Looks like he might drift down in the rocks, and so we stopped unloading the boat, and we're in a rescue at this time. Okay.
Roger. What size is the vessel, and can you tell how many persons aboard?
It's about a 12-foot catamaran, one person on board. He seems to be okay. He's hanging on to the